Jim Nantz on the call for CBS Sports. Yesterday out there at Augusta National, Scottie Scheffler sunk the final putt on 18 to pick up his second Masters victory in the past 3 years. A quick aside before we jump into the more of the Scottie Scheffler conversation, a sad bit of, sad bit coming away from the Masters over the weekend with Vern Lundquist calling his final Masters after being on the call for 40 years. And I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fans of Uncle Vern, as we love to call him, but I love Vern Lundquist. He's always been my favorite broadcaster ever. Growing up listening to him on SEC on CBS on Saturday afternoons, and certainly calling the Masters as well. Truly a legend of the broadcasting game, and I hate to see him finally hang it up, but a well-deserved honor and incredible career for Vern Lundquist. But again, Jim Nantz with that call there as Scheffler sunk that last putt, and what he said sticks out to me because he says his stardom confirmed. I don't necessarily know that to be the case. And look, Scottie Scheffler is an incredible golfer. As I mentioned, he's been number one in the world for basically 2 years now. He's won 2 Masters. He's 20. He's younger than I am. His birthday's like 10 days after mine, and he's accomplished more in his life at 27 than I probably will in my entire life. Like, dude is on top of the world. He's about to go be a father here in a couple days. Like he's got everything going for him. But I don't know if I would quantify him as a superstar in the world of golf. Quite frankly, I don't know how many people you can quantify as superstars in the world of golf, because golf is worried right now, and rightfully so. Now, a lot of concern obviously comes from what's going on with the LIV Golf situation and kind of splitting the fan base, as there are a lot of people that are very anti-LIV, and rightfully so. I understand that. And a lot of people that, just hate to see that golf is splintering this way. And seeing a lot of these great caliber talents going and playing golf and in a place where you don't get to see it a whole lot unless you want to watch the CW all weekend or whatever it may be. So a lot of strife in the golf world right now from that standpoint. But also, when you think about the future of the game, there's no person I feel like that's positioned to keep golf as relevant as it has been in the past. I mentioned Tiger Woods made the cut over the weekend, finished 16 over par and finished 60th, which was the highest, or which was the dead last of anybody that did end up making the cut. But regardless, Tiger still garnered so many headlines just from making the cut alone and showing some kind of semblance of maybe having a shot at winning the thing, because Tiger is the most famous golfer in the world, and he has been for a long, long time. And when Tiger Woods was at the height of his game, in the early 2000s, winning 1 out of every 3 tournaments, golf was just printing money, and everything was golden and seemed to be destined to be in the stratosphere of the sports world for a long time to come. But as Tiger has tapered off and dealt with his injuries and dealt with personal things off the course and all that kind of stuff, golf for the past 10 years has been trying to find that next person to position as the future superstar of this sport, and I don't think they've been able to find that. And, golf for a long time, even before Tiger Woods, golf was blessed with these superstar caliber golfers that garnered headlines and were known, to the common sports fan. Phil Mickelson, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, the list goes on and on. So many high caliber, super well-known golfers that were just a part of the game at the high level for a very, very long time. And yes, some of those guys like Mickelson and Tiger are still out there, but they are not what they once were. But they still garner a lot of headlines, regardless of how good they're doing. Just being in these tournaments gets people to pay attention. But whenever these guys decide to finally hang it up, I don't know who that next person is that's going to be that household name that's going to appeal to the common fan. Tiger brought in so many casual sports fans, and still does, because he's Tiger Woods, and he plays, he took golf to this different level and had video games and drinks and all this kind of stuff named after him, because that's how big his star power was. And I feel like golf, whenever someone wins the Masters, or goes on a run like Scheffler's done the past couple of years with the Masters. They try and position them as golf's next superstar, but I don't think anybody out there has those qualities. And they've tried to do it with so many people. Spieth, and now Scheffler, and John Rahm, and Dustin Johnson a couple years ago. And yes, these guys are great golfers. And again, Scheffler's the best golfer in the world right now, has been for the past 2 years, but they're not superstars. They're not that person that has the ability to cross over into that mainstream that can keep golf at the stratospheric level that Tiger Woods was able to for so long. The closest thing I think golf had to that was maybe like a Bubba Watson, who, of course, won the Masters, 10 years ago, and is still around, still playing, but he had that quirkiness to his personality because he's not only winning golf, but he's also like driving a general lead around and eating at Waffle House and posting it on Twitter and stuff like that. Like, he had that, oddball effect, I guess is the best way to put it, where like he does not match the mold of what we think of when we think of golfers and stuff like that. And he had that ability to appeal a little bit more to the casual fan, but I still don't even think that went far enough as far as, needing him to be positioned as that next superstar in the world of golf. And look, I like golf, and I pay attention to the majors, and I watch it, as much as I can, when it was in reference to other sports. But I don't look at anybody in the golf realm right now that I say, yeah, that guy is the fan favorite. That guy, and yes, you have super golf heads that are into it every single weekend and pay attention to the minute details and all that kind of stuff that probably have their favorites. But as far as the casual observer, yeah, we have guys that we hate, like Patrick Reed. I think everybody hates Patrick Reed. And, Bryson DeChambeau rubs a lot of people the wrong way because he just doesn't seem to love golf as much as some of these other guys do, and doesn't play it as much as some of these other guys do. But as far as that definitive fan favorite superstar, I don't think golf has that right now. And it's unfortunate because golf is a great game, and I think we saw a good Masters over the weekend, but I don't think Scottie Scheffler is that guy that's going to appeal to that common fan and keep golf at the heights or even rival the heights that golf was at so many years ago outside of the majors. Look, everybody watches the majors, especially the Masters. Like, the Masters is always going to have that appeal, much like the Indy 500. Regardless of who the drivers are in the Indy 500, people watch because it's just a tradition and a big event in American sports. Same thing with the Masters. Regardless of who's playing, people are going to watch the Masters. People are going to go to the Masters. It's always going to have that interest. But outside of that, you need star power to appeal for some of these other events outside of the majors, to bring in casual viewers to golf. And I don't think Scottie Scheffler is going to be that, unfortunately. 1 hour down, one more hour to go. We'll talk to Stuart Lake of the Gamecocks Radio Network coming up next. I'll also get his thoughts on what happened down there in Gainesville for Gamecock baseball, picking up another series victory. That's coming up hour number 2. Tyler Head along with you here on The Game.